Hey guys, good morning. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to use and apply masking fluid, and I am using Winsor & Newton colorless masking fluid. This is my preference. I have also tried the Graphics masking fluid, and I've tried the Schmincke or Schmincke masking fluid, and I've had terrible results with this. So this is the one I use, and this is the one I like, and this is the one I recommend, but you can use whatever you prefer and whatever works for you. For this tutorial, you're going to need a synthetic brush, your masking fluid, some soap, this is brush soap, and a cup of clean water. If you have it, a masking fluid pickup, and your watercolor paper. And I am using these little Winsor & Newton artist cards for today. These are the watercolor ones. So go ahead and remove one. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to wet your brush slowly. Don't shake it, just kind of gently agitate. I have been told by credible sources that shaking it introduces a lot of air in it and makes it basically turn over faster. And this has a childproof cap that always vaguely thwarts me. There we go. And some people, if they're going to be using it for a prolonged application, will pour it into another vessel. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our brush, our synthetic brush, nice and soapy. Now you want to use a synthetic brush because if you use a natural hairbrush, you're probably never going to be able to get it out of the bristles, sorry. And if you get it nice and soapy, you're basically forming a coating over your brush that helps protect it from the latex in your masking fluid. So we've got our paper, we've got our masking fluid, and I don't have any particular design on here, so I'm just going to sketch something in. And I have a couple longer form tutorials on using masking fluid if you're looking for more information. And I'm just freehanding kind of a stripe design on here. And then I'm going to allow this to dry before I do anything else to it. And I'm going to clean off my brush completely and then run my hands over the bristles just to remove any stray masking fluid. So we're going to give this a chance to dry. Alright, so my masking fluid has had a chance to dry. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate its masking effect. And just in case you don't know what masking fluid is a latex-based product intended to reserve areas either of white or of prior color in your illustration. Okay. So I've got Soho Permanent Mauve here. And you can see it's even doing a resist where the masking fluid was applied. Alright, so I'm going to give this wash I just laid down a chance to dry. So now that this has had a chance to dry, I'm actually going to do another layer. So I'm going to, again, soap up my brush, and this is the tail end of the Old Masters brush soap I have, but it's just small enough for demonstration purposes. So lathered up my brush, open up my masking fluid, and for this demonstration I'm going to do plaid stripes going in the other direction. Looks like it's activated my paints. Clean off my brush immediately. Pulling out any possible dried masking fluid. And then give my masking fluid a chance to dry. Okay, so now that that's dried, I'm going to do another layer. Same color, try to work it even darker. Not too thrilled about the fact that that basically went fluorescent on us. I'm a little nervous about it, but I think it will still demonstrate the basic principle of masking. All right. And give that a chance to dry as well. And I just want to make it clear that you need to let every prior layer dry before you paint your next layer. I think I have some, I have some caked on paint there that I'm going to disperse. But before you can apply another layer of your masking fluid, you have to let the prior layer dry completely. If it's still wet when you put it on, some artists have had okay results with applying it wet over wet. I've found that it tears up my paper, so I just try to let every layer have plenty of time to dry. And I'm just kind of redistributing some of this paint so it's going to dry a little more evenly. So this layer has dried. I'm just going to do one more layer. So I'm going to grab my synthetic brush. Gonna lather it up, lots of soap. The soap doesn't ruin your, well, it might. Over the long term, it might ruin your masking fluid, but it does save your brush, and I found I get a lot better results in applying it to the paper when I use the soap. So you also want to be careful not to apply it too thickly, just because sometimes that can negatively impact the drying time. Always important to remove the masking fluid. And I'm actually using, I like to use my Princeton Elite, and this brush has bristles, or the hairs are a little bit too stiff to be good for watercolor, but it is great for this. So we need to let that layer dry. Go ahead and apply a little more Soho Permanent Mauve to my Craft Essentials mat, and I'll be right back. So this is all, I believe, dry. Feels dry. So next stage, we're using the masking fluid pickup to sort of lift up one of the edges and just get it started. You can also use your finger. You can probably even use, if you have the right type of a regular eraser, you can probably use that as well. And sometimes I will have problems where if there's too much paint on the masking fluid, it will sort of smear into the white. So that's something, or the masked area, that's something you want to be kind of aware of. And while this isn't a difficult, see, sort of smeared onto the white. And while this isn't a difficult process, it can be a time-consuming one. Rather than bore you guys by removing all of this masking fluid on camera, which would take quite a while and be incredibly boring, I'm going to just lift a sample from each on camera and then do the rest off camera. So, I don't know if you can see it, but first of all, I do think there's something in the masking fluid, maybe the latex, that reacts with permanent mauve and sort of makes it a little more fluorescent. It kind of changes the color a bit, which is interesting. So I might have to test this out with a different color to better demonstrate. Also, this last layer wasn't really as, there wasn't as much of a transition between the colors as I thought, but you can still sort of see that by masking at different stages, you can get different colors. Oh, I missed one. Huh. But that's about it. You can see 3 different stages of masking. So, I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful, useful, and informative. If you did, I hope you check out some of my other watercolor tutorials here on this blog, and I mean, here on this channel, but also at natosoup.blogspot.com in my watercolor basics series. I hope I see you guys again really soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye.